In this video, I'm going to show you how to put together all the parts for the, I call it the eye-to-eye system, where you can look someone else into the eye on Zoom or Skype. So hopefully you have all the pieces that you need in your possession. If not, there is a video up here about how to, all the different parts and why this works so well. But let's go through briefly the parts and then we'll put them together. So let's start with, we've got the teleprompter from Catty. We have a very small tripod. We've got a Logitech C920 or C922. Mine just has a little cover, a little privacy cover, so just ignore that. So we've got the monitor here, and we have a power cord that just plugs into the wall. And we have this here HDMI cable. So this is the one that I recommend. It has the 90-degree angle on the end. And then I have the necessary adapter for my computer. So this will be different for every different computer. So I'll go into some of the options there. So let's start with the Catty teleprompter setup. So I think it comes set up like this. The only difference is you might have a part that looks a little bit different than this that's meant for a cell phone. But the one with this, it's called a 1/4-20 screw. That's the one you want to be attached to these back rails. And everything here is adjustable, so you can kind of move things back and forth, up and down. And so we'll have that there. And then we've got on the front the tray, and this is the glass. So let me get this around here. There's a little adjustment here that you can loosen, and then you can put the glass up to about 45 degrees. There's a couple of settings. Any of those will work. And then let's tighten that down. Up front, there is this tray, and on the bottom, another little adjustment that can move around. So we'll kind of leave that open for now, and we'll adjust it once the monitor's in there. We want to get it nice and snug. And then one more adjustment here is mostly for balancing the camera. If you've got a really heavy camera on the back, you can move this part back and forth. So what I suggest is pushing it all the way towards the glass and tightening it down, because you'll probably need to move this piece pretty close to the glass too. So the next thing I want to do is attach it to the tripod. So let's get the tripod set up. So the first thing is we're going to pull out the legs and loosen these the legs to make them extend them all the way out. We want this tripod base to be as wide as possible so that this doesn't fall over. So this is definitely the best tripod I've found for this purpose. And then you've got a second here. You could adjust this, just twist this, and then you can make it about level. And then here you can adjust this depending on how tall you are. So if you're taller, you can have it higher, or you can move it up and down. We'll set this exactly later. So let's just tighten that down. Now, I like to have this bar here, the adjustment for whether it's higher or lower, pointed towards me. So we'll go here and we'll set this up. And I am going to put this 1/4-20 screw into the base of the teleprompter. And just get that good and tight. So the next thing we're going to do is attach the camera to the back of the teleprompter. So very similarly, we've got one of those 1/4-20 screws here, and we're going to attach it here. And I like to push it pretty far forward in this L-shaped thing, so closer to the glass. Then what we'll do is we'll take this black fabric that came with the teleprompter and drape it over the top here. So what you want is this kind of rubberized part to rest on the top of your camera so it doesn't fall down in front of your camera. So we can move this up and around a little bit. I guess, let's see here, can it move any further forward? So that's all the way forward. And then we can look down here and adjust this part further forward. There's just a little bit of space there, and tighten that down. And now you can see how that rubberized part is resting on top of the camera. Okay, then we just pull that down over the rest of the mirror, and all that does is darken the entire area behind the mirror, and that's what's going to make it work like a mirror. So now we're moving on to the exciting part of the monitor. And first, before we put it into the tray, I want you to hook up the connections. So this is the 90-degree HDMI cable. So you're connecting this to the HDMI in. And this can kind of go around the base here. And then you're hooking up the power cable that goes to the wall. And once again, it can go underneath there. So then you're going to take this and put it into the tray with the cables closest to the camera and the buttons out on this side. And the cables kind of fall through to the base so they don't have to be crimped inside there. And then you'll adjust the tray like I talked about earlier so that this sits nice and flat in there, and then get it tight and tighten it down again so it doesn't really, wobble a lot on the teleprompter. So now we're connecting up the cables. The USB cable from the external webcam can just go into one of the USB slots. The power cable goes into the wall. So here's the tricky part. Depending on your computer, you may have an HDMI input. My older MacBook Pro has this input, and you can plug directly into there. But for this one, what I have is USB-C connections or Thunderbolt connections. So I'm going to plug this in. This is just an adapter, and you'll have to choose the right adapter for your computer. And then I plug in the HDMI cable to the end here. So now we just power on the monitor here. And your computer should sense it, maybe flash a few times. So you can see here, we've got the monitor mirrored here. You can see it over here. And mine is already configured, but the Lilliput does need to be configured to look like this. So I've got another video up in the upper right-hand corner where I walk through which buttons to push to get this configuration perfect. So if you're not seeing the same thing on the two monitors, you might have to do a little bit of work in the settings. So on my Mac, I'm going to go to the upper left and go to System Preferences, and then go to Displays. And you can see here under Arrangement, you've got choices. So one is to be unmirrored, and you can see over on the right-hand screen, it's no longer the exact same thing. Or you can check this Mirror Displays. And now we've got the same thing on both monitors, and you can choose which one to scale for, the built-in display or the monitor. One is just going to make the screen a little bit bigger. That's maybe a little bit easier to read. That's the monitor. And then you can close that out. So then we can head over to something like Zoom and go to the preferences. And we're going to take a look and make sure we've got the right webcam set. So under video, we're going to make sure that we have the C920. And you can see here that we don't have a perfect image yet. So we're going to have to play with that a little bit. So you can reach behind and adjust. Here we go for that and that. So this is just tilting around a little bit because we were seeing the top edge of the mirror. And now you can see it's a little bit tall or a little bit short. So this is where I can just twist this and then adjust it up a little bit, tighten it down, and we're perfect to have an eye-to-eye call right now. Thanks for watching. If you're a coach or a therapist or a similar professional, I'd love it if you subscribe to this channel or head over to my website to have a free one-on-one call with me to see how you can use video better in your practice. I've also got some more videos about teleprompters over here.